those who want to see the truth behind every pursuit. This is Police Pursuits, where a single impulsive decision can push everything beyond control in seconds. Today you'll witness 4 cases where pressure, mistakes, and instinct decided the outcome, and there was no turning back. Let's begin. On the 28th of August 2024, we received a pursuit call in the northern Hicks Road area, a rugged hillside terrain with limited access routes. A suspect fled into a narrow trail system. Multiple units were deployed immediately to establish containment and control the area. When the suspect turned into the trail, it reflected a common mindset using terrain to escape. In reality, these routes restrict visibility and maneuverability. He was unknowingly driving himself into a confined space where we had the advantage.
Bravo 2, go ahead and take the I don't know how much is parking road.
Charles County Road, going to be turning east on Hicks. Roadways are clear.
We didn't push speed, we maintained steady pressure. This forces the suspect into prolonged stress. Under that kind of pressure, decision-making shifts from logic to instinct. And instinct, in these situations, often leads to critical mistakes. The rough terrain started to destabilize the vehicle. That's when we brought in a unit from the opposite direction. This 2-point containment tactic eliminates escape routes and forces the suspect into a position where failure becomes inevitable.
Vehicle stuck. Just ran my vehicle.
Once the vehicle got stuck, the situation shifted to direct confrontation. At this stage, commands must be sharp and overwhelming. The goal is to remove thinking time and leave the suspect with only one option: compliance.
Open the door from the outside. We'll call him out. Open the door from the outside. Go ahead. Open the fucking door. We're gonna snatch you out. Open it from the inside.
Ordering the suspect to crawl out the window is a control tactic. It forces them into an unnatural, vulnerable position, reducing their ability to resist. This minimizes the risk of sudden aggression or concealed threats.
Crawl out. Crawl. I don't give a fuck. Fuck out.
Ow, you guys are ow, ow, fuck it, ow, oh my fucking leg!
Get on your stomach. On your stomach.
As soon as he was pulled out, the suspect shifted into panic mode. Apologies, confusion, pain complaints, these are typical signs of adrenaline crashing. But for us, this is still a high-risk phase that requires full control.
Shouldn't have fucking drove at me, you stupid motherfucker.
Rose County 110.
You stupid bitch. You know you could have fucking killed me? That was fucking stupid.
Let you fix the way, cuz. My knees broke.
Hector 120.
My knees broke. Ow, ow. The right ankle.
That's unfortunate, pal.
When the suspect reported he couldn't move his leg, the situation transitioned into a medical phase. Every move had to be precise, maintaining control while preventing further injury. One mistake here can lead to serious legal consequences. We split responsibilities. Some units secured the scene, others handled the suspect. Gloves, search procedures, and calling EMS are not just protocol, they protect both the suspect and the officers from additional risk.
Yeah, it's 10-4. He was just trying to back out and just a light tap. 10-4. Yeah, I believe I had him clear the channel. If not, probably can't even clear 33.
Since the suspect couldn't walk, we had to assist him. This is a delicate balance. Too much force increases injury risk. Too little control creates instability. Field experience determines how that balance is managed in real time.
Stand on that, and we'll help you walk over there. Stand on your left leg.
Continuous pain complaints can be real or a delay tactic, but the rule is simple. Treat every claim as real. Misjudging this stage can quickly turn a controlled situation into a liability.
It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad, my wrist.
Well, it's either that or we pick you up and it's going to hurt your leg even more. So,
You hurt my wrist, man.
which wrist is hurting?
The right one.
Your right one?
Ah,
That's loose.
I ain't loose. It's hurting my bone.
Don't do anything stupid. You hear me? There, that's as loose as I can get it. All right?
The suspect was identified as Daniel R., 32, residing in the northern suburban area. He was charged with fleeing law enforcement, resisting arrest, and reckless endangerment. Given the severity, he faces multiple years in prison along with significant financial penalties. On the evening of the 18th of February 2026, on Interstate 430 northbound near Exit 4, we identified a silver Lexus traveling at extreme speed. Traffic enforcement units coordinated immediately, deploying multiple units to initiate pursuit and control the highway corridor.
Turn lights off.
Ah, hell yeah, it's up. Alright, we gonna miss the call?
Yep. I'm 35 Lyric. I got one running from me. It's gonna be eastbound on Colonel Glenn from 430. Silver passenger car, blacked out.
Oh yeah, that's 63 to 63 for Adam 35.
Got his light back on.
10 on your left.
Let's turn his lights back on.
When the suspect turned his lights off and back on, it was an attempt to blend into traffic. This is a common psychological tactic to disrupt identification, but with continuous radio coordination and visual tracking, it only sharpened our focus on the target.
We're gonna go on west on Colonel Glenn. West on Colonel Glenn. Alright, he's busting the UE. Back east on Colonel Glenn.
10 for eastbound on Colonel Glenn to John Barrow.
Looks like a Lexus IS230.
Adam 35.
As the vehicle kept switching lanes, the suspect was trying to break the rhythm of the pursuit. But on an open highway, every movement becomes more visible. High speed doesn't create advantage. It only accelerates the moment a mistake happens.
So blacked out.
Approaching 36. East of 100. Still blacked out.
Sending 1.
Approaching 36, still blacked out.
Star 6 plus
Has
800.
been requested for passage in the PDASD.
Doubling back. West on Colonel Glenn.
10 for westbound on Colonel Glenn.
Speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour indicated the suspect had entered a panic driving state. At that level, control becomes reactive rather than deliberate. The driver is no longer managing the vehicle, he's simply trying to survive each second.
36. John Barrow. Approaching John Barrow.
Approaching John Barrow.
We didn't close in aggressively, instead we maintained a controlled distance. The goal was to let the suspect expose his own mistakes. Sustained pressure often breaks decision-making faster than direct confrontation.
What you running for? What you running for? You ain't got to be scared. For what? For what? John Barrow and West Park. Looks like.
The moment of contact began when the suspect stopped. Commands like hands up and get down were repeated to dominate the situation. Rapid command sequences reduced the suspect's ability to organize resistance. Once detained, the suspect shifted into explanation and justification. This is a typical psychological response trying to regain control verbally after losing physical control of the situation. Mentioning money and personal property is often a distraction tactic. The suspect attempts to redirect focus away from the offense, but every detail must still go through proper verification, unaffected by emotional cues.
And I got 500 in the car.
I got you. I'm gonna get it. Phone is on the ground.
Can you grab my phone? It's on the ground too.
When the suspect said, "I'm not afraid," it was likely a psychological shield. In reality, fleeing at high speed is often driven by fear. The contradiction is clear: the more fear, the more reckless the behavior. Questions like, "Why did I stop so suddenly?" show the suspect beginning to process the situation. This marks the shift from instinct to awareness. But by then, the outcome had already been decided by earlier choices.
I worked so hard to buy that bitch.
Just stop it.
I know, but I got scared, bro.
933-68-9047. It's gonna be my driver.
The admission, "I was scared," is the clearest psychological breaking point. As adrenaline fades, reality sets in. Resistance drops, and cooperation begins, but it comes too late to change the consequences.
Hard work, bro. I'm not even this type of person, but I see him and I got scared because I was going fast as fuck.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
But I didn't think it was gonna happen like this, bro. I should have just stopped.
Yeah, now you got a penalty, player. Let me stop this camera and restart it.
If I get it back. Why would I get it back?
Back with that.
It's still drivable.
The suspect was identified as Marcus L., 28, from the Little Rock area. He was charged with fleeing law enforcement, reckless driving on a highway, and resisting arrest. Due to the severity, he faces multiple years in prison, license suspension, and substantial financial penalties. On the evening of the 25th of December 2025, during a Christmas patrol, we received a call about a vehicle speeding on I-4 westbound. The suspect, a female driver, showed signs of fleeing upon spotting law enforcement. Multiple units were coordinated to control the route and prepare for a high-risk stop. Initial speed was around 80 miles per hour, quickly escalating beyond 100 miles per hour. This is a clear sign of panic acceleration. When panic sets in, drivers stop evaluating their surroundings. They focus only on creating distance through speed.
Westbound 38. What's the traffic? What's the speed? Speeds are 80 southwest.
Suspect description was continuously updated over the radio. This isn't just for identification, it allows units ahead to prepare strategically. A successful pursuit isn't about the fastest car, but about the most coordinated system.
1537. The driver looks like to be a white female, long hair,
As speed exceeded safe limits, we didn't immediately close in. The strategy was to let the suspect burn through mistakes. Sustained pressure reduces control over time, and one small error is enough to end the pursuit.
westbound at the 34, speed 15, cross the road.
113, traffic light.
There's gonna be a front passenger in the vehicle as well.
No, passenger in the vehicle as well.
Exit 33rd.
Before take a leg, swing at 33.
Just signal forward the concrete wall. Still going.
Left signal forward the wall, still going.
Clear left, clear right.
The stop instantly transitioned into a high-risk takedown. Commands like "show me your hands" and "get on the ground" were repeated rapidly. This establishes control in the first critical seconds, the most dangerous moment of any stop.
Fucking in! Let me see your fucking hands! Matt, go on the ground! On the fucking ground!
I'm sorry. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground. I'm on the ground.
On the fucking ground! Let me see your fucking hands!
He wanted me to stop. I'm
Got
sorry.
the vehicle stopped.
I'm sorry.
Got one at gunpoint and one on the ground.
Listen, officer, please.
Next! Stay on the ground!
Sorry.
Stop resisting! No!
The suspect quickly shifted into compliance, repeatedly apologizing. This reflects a sudden adrenaline crash. The body moves from extreme tension to surrender, but even in this phase, risk has not fully disappeared.
It's Christmas, man. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. I'm on the ground. Please, you just leave. I am on the ground. I'm just trying to talk to you. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Statements like "it's Christmas" or "I just want to talk" are attempts to create emotional connection. This is a way suspects try to soften the situation. But for us, emotions never override procedure.
I'm sorry, man. It's Christmas. I shouldn't have done any of that. I'm so sorry.
You got any weapons on you?
No, of course not. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
37, 1013.
Please don't arrest him. It's not his fault.
9297.
When the suspect kept saying it's not his fault, it showed an attempt to shift responsibility. This behavior often appears when they begin realizing the consequences and try to minimize legal liability.
Thanks, sir.
Officer?
Good.
Excuse me, sir. Sir? I know you're upset with me and you don't want to talk to me, but can I just talk to you for 1 second, please?
What you got, ma'am?
I said, can I just talk to you for 1 second?
Reading Miranda rights marks the transition from field control to legal process. Everything said from that point forward can be used in court. This is where the suspect fully confronts the seriousness of the situation.
I'm really not a bad person. I'm sorry, I just panicked, like... I know I'm going to jail, but I am sorry.
The explanation about a possibly invalid license combined with panic reveals the true motive. It wasn't about speed, it was about fear of consequences. That fear is what escalated the situation beyond control.
I think it's just this, you know,
Throw out the window of the truck.
we didn't throw anything out the window of the truck. There was stuff in the bed that was flying out of there was like trash in the truck that was flying out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if something flew out, but there's like, you know, there's like trash in the back of the truck that's been flying out, just like loose things.
Is there anything in that truck I need to know about?
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
why
sir.
are we going 91?
Like I said, it's Christmas. I'm late for my mom's. I'm supposed to be in Orlando. We're supposed to be going to see a movie, and I was just pushing it a little too hard. And when I saw you guys, you know, coming to pull me over, I panicked because, you know, I'm not sure if my license is valid.
So instead of pulling over,
When questioned about items in the vehicle and an unknown backpack, the suspect became uncertain. This is where the truth starts to surface. A simple traffic stop has now expanded into a broader legal investigation.
You want to call your mom?
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Okay.
So what happened out here today? So I'm a supervisor and I'm doing what's called a use of control report.
Okay.
And I'm just here to find out, you know, like what happened out here today. And
Okay. So what happened was, I was late for my mom's to be at my mom's for Christmas. I'm supposed to be in Orlando, and my friend had to use the truck. So my friend had let me use the truck and I was speeding, like I said, because I was late.
Right.
And when, you know, I saw one of your guys like pull out, I panicked.
Her statement about just wanting to see her mom on Christmas shows a clear internal conflict. Personal pressure combined with a split-second decision created major consequences. This is a classic example of emotion-driven escalation.
You know, a vehicle that was in the median that was, you know, kind of pulling out, and then, you know, I didn't see any lights until, honestly, like I was over here. Anyway, but I was speeding, and like I said, I panicked because I wasn't sure if my license was valid. And you know, like I said, I didn't want to miss Christmas with my family. It's, you know, been, you know, the first year that we were all kind of together.
Kind of get away? Is that kind of it?
I mean, I was not really thinking, officer. I just kind of, you know, honestly, I just panicked. I wasn't thinking. I just
at the light.
I just kind of lost control. Lost control. Like I said, I panicked. I didn't know, you know, if I was stopping or going. I was freaking out a little bit.
So at the traffic light, you lost control of your truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any contact between your truck and the patrol car, do you think?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
There was.
So then what happened?
Well, I mean, the passenger, you know, he was, you know, he was telling me to stop, and like I said, I was just like.
As questioning deepened, inconsistencies began to appear about the vehicle, the items, and related individuals. This indicates the initial story was incomplete. For us, this marks the beginning of a more extensive investigation.
It's Christmas, and you know,
I understand.
Y'all have a lot more things, you know, to be doing, and you know, I'm sorry for putting everybody's lives in danger.
Yeah. And ma'am, which one's your phone?
My phone is that's my phone.
That's your phone? Okay, you're gonna have your purse and your phone. Whose is this? This was found behind the driver's seat where you were sitting.
Oh, that is not mine. That is not mine. I honestly, that's why I asked you when you walked up. Well, I just told the officer my friend let me use the truck, and when I got it.
The suspect was identified as Ashley T., 27, from the Orlando area. She was charged with fleeing law enforcement, reckless driving, collision with a patrol vehicle, and providing false information. She now faces potential prison time, long-term license suspension, and significant financial penalties.
Face away from me. Driver, step back. Passengers, stay where you're at.
During a night patrol, we received a pursuit alert involving a vehicle on Highway 371 heading south-southwest. The driver showed suspicious behavior and signs of fleeing. Multiple units were coordinated to track the vehicle, maintain distance, and prepare for a high-risk stop. From the beginning, radio traffic made it clear this wasn't a simple situation. With multiple units involved, every detail mattered. Identifying direction of travel allowed us to build a mental end map of the pursuit before it even unfolded. As the vehicle continued south, the suspect maintained speed without fully committing to stopping. This is a dangerous hesitation state, not fully fleeing but not complying either. Once we confirmed the vehicle, the strategy shifted to controlling the stop point. Winning a pursuit isn't about catching up, it's about forcing the suspect to stop under conditions that favor officer safety and control. The stop itself is the most dangerous phase. Commands like exit the vehicle, turn around, walk backward were repeated continuously. This high-risk stop tactic separates occupants from the vehicle and reduces the chance of sudden aggression.
Face away from me. Face away from me. Driver, step back. Passengers, stay where you're at. Do what?
I got a vape in my hand.
I ain't worried about it. Hold it right now. Keep walking back. Keep walking back. Keep walking back.
As the driver began explaining himself, it showed a shift toward compliance. But phrases like, "I was just having fun," usually hide a deeper issue. He underestimated the consequences from the very beginning.
So why are you running?
Like I said, just got back in town from being on the oil rig for a couple weeks, and I was just having some fun with a friend, got carried away.
I got you.
The idea of escaping a ticket is one of the most common mistakes. A single decision choosing to accelerate instead of stop can turn a minor traffic violation into a serious criminal case within minutes.
Hang tight. G18 Hope 1015 comes one. Is that pocket now?
Yes, sir. I think that's the only thing about it.
Has he got any warrants or anything?
When we discovered a knife hidden in his waistband, the situation escalated immediately. This is why we never rely solely on initial statements. Every suspect is handled under the assumption of potential threat.
Let's go shoot.
Appreciate that. So what was y'all out doing?
Man, he was right with him the other way. His buddy, his brother. That's abused by them, so. But
stories about friends, background, or personal context often come after control is established. It's an attempt to humanize the situation and reduce perceived severity. But actions, not explanations, determine legal consequences.
I got you. Hang tight. I'll be right back with you. Okay? Hey, step over here, right here. No.
Once everything was secured, this is the final phase, but also when reality sets in. A single impulsive decision has now led to a situation that cannot be reversed. The driver was identified as Kevin M., 30, a local resident. He was charged with fleeing law enforcement, possession of a dangerous weapon, and endangering public safety. He now faces potential prison time, extended probation, and significant financial penalties.